Today we are going to do black risotto. It is basically a cuttlefish risotto, but we are going to utilize the cuttlefish in it. The benefit from it is that the risotto will have a nice taste, but the cool factor will kick in too. The risotto will be completely black and it looks just amazing on your plate. So let's start with our recipe. Today's ingredients are a big cuttlefish, some fresh parsley, olive oil, black pepper, dry white wine, salt, arborio rice, some garlic, a yellow onion, and parmesan cheese. When making black risotto with fresh cuttlefish, it is important how to clean the cuttlefish. We want to preserve the ink sac, and that is why we need to be really careful. The best way to clean the cuttlefish is first to remove the cuttlefish bone. It is protecting the internal organs of the cuttlefish, which means the ink sac as well. It is not necessary to be really gentle during this process, but not too firm so that the internal organs are not crushed. And just go easy step by step, and you basically cannot make a mistake. It is better to take your time, as I did in this video, than to rush it and to make some mistakes. I like to go with the tip of the knife so that I don't do some damage inside, because it is then really much harder to clean, because all the stuff from inside goes all around. So just go with the tip of your knife, and as soon as you have enough space, just pull out the cuttlefish bone. As you can see, it goes right away. Um, Mine here was broken on the left side, so I had to clean the small pieces. But it happens. You don't need to worry about such stuff. You will need to wash it later anyhow. So you can see I'm like now taking all the small pieces. It's kitchen, it happens. This is the most delicate part of the cuttlefish cleaning process. It is crucial to remove this thin, almost see-through membrane, but in the same time, it is really important not to damage anything inside, especially the ink sac. Uh, it is that black thing where my knife now is, and I'm trying to open it and I go around it. While I was trying to liberate this ink sac, I noticed it was damaged, probably broken, and it was one of the reasons why I had so much ink on my cutting board and during the whole preparation process. That is why I decided to use the other one. Luckily, Cuttlefish has two of them, and you basically need just one, but the other one is a bit harder to get. It is not that easy. Don't be afraid to use your fingers, it's okay, nothing will drastically happen. That's why you have the gloves, to keep your hands nice and clean. And now I am going to remove the other ink sac, but you should really do it really careful. You can see that I'm really careful with every step because it's pretty easy to pierce it, and you don't want to pierce it because you will have ink all over your kitchen. I mean, you will have ink anyhow all over your kitchen when you make black risotto, but let's try to minimize it. Just keep it slow and steady. It is really important to get it outside in one piece. Pro tip, have a glass with that wine somewhere nearby because when the ink sac is out, you want to put it into the wine glass. Once I got the ink out, I cleaned everything underwater at my sink. And now it is really important to remove the cuttlefish beak. As you can see, it's similar to a parrot's one. I just cut around to remove the beak. There is actually no special technique there, just cut it. Even if you cut a bit of the meat, that's fine. You will have more than enough for your risotto. The same rules apply for removing the cuttlefish eyes. You just want to save as much as possible of the meat and to do it as quick as possible. You can see me here doing it real time, so it's not really that hard nor complicated. I usually always throw away any part of the cuttlefish that feels hard under my fingers. Those tough parts will never get tender, no matter how long you cook them, and therefore I just try to avoid them. Now, just to finish cleaning the cuttlefish head, and then I will show you where to look for those tough parts. Use your fingers. If something feels tough, cut it away. That is the part that doesn't belong in your risotto. There are some tough parts at the bottom of the cuttlefish head. On each side of the cuttlefish, there are two hard stripes. They're easy to remove and just cut under them. After the stripes are removed, it is time to find two lumps. You can see me cutting them away. They're pretty small but still tough, so it is better to not have them in the risotto, and they're pretty visible as you can see. I like to cut the cuttlefish into equally small cubes. This way, while I cook, everything will cook equally and all pieces will be equally tender. Plus, it looks really nice on the plate, so there is win-win situation with this way of cutting. And now it's time to cook. Good amount of olive oil and a chopped onion. I cooked the onion on medium heat. This way I will get a nice golden color and it will not burn. Now it's time for the cuttlefish. It will take some time till it's done, approximately 10 to 15 minutes, so take your time. There is a lot of liquid in the cuttlefish and there is no need to add any additional, at least at the start. I prefer to cook it under the lid. Somehow I have the feeling that the cuttlefish is more tender. It is important to check how much liquid is left because we don't want to fry the onions and the cuttlefish. We want it to simmer. It looks like it needs some water. Add water. A longer cooking time will just make the cuttlefish more tender, so you cannot go wrong. The cuttlefish should be done after 15 minutes, so taste it. If it's tender, it's time to add rice, and then the risotto cooking part starts. Just add rice on top of cuttlefish and onion. I'm using about 1 cup, and this is good for about 4 portions. Once I add the rice, I prefer to stir it in without adding any additional liquids. It is almost like roasting the rice. The flavor will be just a little more fuller, and it will give that extra kick to the risotto. Usually roast it for a minute or so, and then I like to add garlic. The benefit of immediately adding garlic is that the garlic taste will not be that strong, but it will be noticeable, and that is what I wanted to achieve. I'm using vegetable stock, which is basically boiled celery root, carrots, onion, and garlic. If you have a fish stock, you can use it as well, but in this case you will get a bit stronger and bolder flavors. Even just plain water will work if you don't have time to make any kind of stock. Stock should be added little by little with enough liquid, but never too much, so that it's not swimming and yet not sticking to the bottom. And now let's make the risotto black. Adding the mixture of wine and cuttlefish ink will do the trick. The obvious benefit of adding ink to risotto, it will make it black, so it will look cool. The ink will add some texture elements. The risotto will feel smoother, almost like fattier, but it will not be. And the ink will bring that salty, bready, and I would say even bittery taste. And in the end will pop the cuttlefish taste, making it even more cuttlefishier. It adds just something that makes it special. I like to add Parmesan cheese to risotto to give it that nice umami taste. This is a Croatian recipe, so it's fine. I'm sorry, Italians. You don't need to add cheese, but it will make taste it much fuller than without it. If you feel like the risotto should be a bit creamier, add a little bit of olive oil. To cook the rice, it takes about 10 minutes, and it should be firm under the tooth and creamy. That is the perfect risotto. This black risotto looks really cool and unique, but you can tell it's a really good risotto by itself because it's something between liquid and firm, how a good risotto should be. I like to garnish my black risotto with fresh parsley for freshness and some Parmesan cheese for contrast, and because I like Parmesan cheese. Let's taste it now. Here's our black risotto. We're going now to taste it and see how good it is. It's really good. Yeah, really good. And that ink squid, it gives another note. Really good. Mm. I'm going to eat this and then see you later.